Coming your way on Golden State Warriors today, we're going to take a look at some veteran minimum free agent targets that the Warriors could sign to round out this roster and some trade ideas with the Utah Jazz. Stay tuned for that because it includes a very intriguing player on this Warriors roster. Before we begin, though, make sure you subscribe to the channel as we approach 60,000 subscribers. And if you love the Golden State Warriors, I can promise you this is your go-to spot for year-round analysis because that's what we do, in addition to Warriors free agency, watch parties, live shows. So help us get to 60,000 subscribers by hitting that sub button right now. Let's start off with those vet min targets for Golden State. Not a lot of money in the bankroll for the Warriors. Mike Dunleavy Jr. still needing to round out this team with a couple of veterans for training camp, as well as potentially the regular season as well. So one of the ideal Warriors free agent targets in the eyes of many could be Bismack Biyombo. He's really reinvented his career to a certain degree over the last few seasons with the Phoenix Suns, and we know that the Golden State Warriors in need of some size in that front court because right now not a player on this squad over 6'9". He's played with the Suns the last couple of years, as I said. Good rim protector, solid defender, a guy who is a big body down low, 4 points per game, 4 rebounds, a block and a half last year, for Phoenix, able to convert on about 58% of his field goals. And you look at his numbers over the last 4 years, right? At one point in his career, a little bit overpaid and kind of maxed out, capped out as far as what he can do. But again, with the Suns the last 2 years, I think he's really been able to insert himself as a rotation-like big who can give you very solid defense and offensively maybe a little bit of a lob threat and a guy who can put in that dunker spot right around the rim. And that's why I kind of like the thought of bringing in Bismack Biyombo. Good compliment to Kevon Looney, Trace Jackson Davis. That allows Dario Saric to play the role that I think is better suited for him at that 4 spot. Warriors, vet min target number 2, Javonte Green, kind of a guard-forward hybrid with a little bit of versatility to his craft. And you look at his numbers over the last 4 years, another rotation player who, if you give him 10, 13 minutes per night in the regular season, it's going to allow some of the marquee players on this team to get the necessary rest that they need to get primed, locked, and loaded for the NBA playoffs. But as an energetic player who can come in and play some defense, hit some shots, go on a heater here and there, knock down a 3, this is the type of vetman type of player that the Warriors are in the market for. One of the more popular names on this list is Derrick Jones Jr., high flyer, wiry athlete, very skinny. He's participated in a couple of dunk contests throughout his career. The lefty, been way too inconsistent as an offensive player. Can he have a career year for Golden State because of how good of a job they do with developing players? Last year with Chicago, 5 points per game, 2.5 rebounds, 50% from the floor. He could shoot a corner 3 a bit, but the consistency, as I mentioned, just not where you really want it to be. And over his last 4 years, the production as a role player in this league has been somewhat steady, around 5 to 8 points per game on a quality team. Gives you athleticism. I'd actually like to see what the Warriors can do with a player like this on some backdoor cuts, off-ball action to see how he can get freed up to maximize his athleticism. So those right there, some vetman free agent targets for the Golden State Warriors here. Keep in mind, there's just not a lot of money at their disposal to bring in a marquee type of player in free agency unless they were to trade one away. So that's 3 guys right here who the Dubs could sign. If you could pick a player, get in the shoes of Mike Dunleavy Jr. and be the team's general manager, who you rocking with here? BB for Bismack, JG, Javonte Green, DJ for Derrick Jones. And if the Warriors do make a signing, you know who's going to cover it? Your boy right here. You know where? Right here on Golden State Warriors Today. We are less than 800 people away from 60,000 subscribers, and when we get there, it would be straight up sensational, and we will celebrate right here on the program as the continued evolution and growth of this channel continues. Trade with the Utah Jazz. Could it happen for the Dubs? Let's round out the show with this. 2 trades that I saw on the internet that I found to be intriguing, and I know so many people are going to be in shambles in the comments section because they don't like to have any fun, just having fun basketball conversations, but that's what we like to do here at the end of July when literally nothing is going on and all of these teams are away for vacation, getting away for the first time in several months. So internet trade idea number one, Dubs receive Lauri Markkanen, who was an all-star last year for Utah, in Utah. And then the Jazz received Jonathan Kuminga, GP2, Moses Moody, and first-round picks in 2026 and in 2028. So it's funny when you see trades like this because you think about the all-star player that Markkanen is, but then you counter that with everything that you need to give up. And Kuminga, GP2, Moses Moody, and 2 first-round picks for a player who's had one great year to his career is just far too much. Now, as a roster fit, he'd be fun on this Warriors team. A stretch 4. That's kind of why you brought in a Dario Saric, though. Obviously, Markkanen, with his 25.5 points per game last year, is a much better stretch type of 4 than Dario Saric. The numbers certainly tell a story there. Almost 50% from the floor, 39% from three-point range. And Markkanen, as a guy, makes a lot of money. Was an all-star last year. You'd have to give up a ton for him. That's why it's probably not all too realistic at the end of the day. Internet trade idea number 2, Kelly Olynyk and a 2025 first-round pick to the Warriors for Jonathan Kuminga. Now, this one a little bit more realistic because you get that first-round pick, which you could use to continue to replenish this roster to a certain degree. And Kelly Olynyk plays the 4, plays the 5, hits the 3, a lot of high-leverage playoff experience. But once again, I'm not giving up the upside and the potential of Jonathan Kuminga for a player who's like really solid but not fantastic by any means in Olynyk. Now, also played for the Jazz, as we noted, 12.5 points per game last year, 39% three-point shooter, and in his career, he's been a solid three-point shooter for a big in this league. I like his toughness. I like his lack of fear. But are we really ready to give up on Jonathan Kuminga? No chance. Not for these players that we featured in these trade ideas that we came across here. So you keep Kuminga. He gives you that athleticism. He gives you that spark, that juice in that wing front court area that you desperately need, and some youth on this squad. So would you trade Jonathan Kuminga? Our last question, you could pretend to be the general manager. Just give us a T for trade or a K for keep. And we also want to give some shout-outs to some of our loyal subscribers. On a video at the end of last week, we said, to the person who comments the most, give you a shout-out here on the show. So we have to live up to our word. Turtle Hoops commented 45 times. Cattle Dog with 36. And Phoenix Blaze with 20. Thanks to all of you for being real ones. Thanks to all of you for watching the show and your continued support of everything that we do. And make sure you subscribe to the channel.